Wow.
Wow, this is some really deep stuff.
I don't know what just happened, but something happened inside of me. Something snapped, something.
I wasn't expecting that
either. Sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. It's beautiful.
Monster is like really small, but it had to become that to stop me.
And then the hurt child became present when you mentioned it.
And I didn't realize this until now.
There were things that I didn't remember until now.
Funny, I haven't seen that before.
It feels like I'm the monster. I'm kind of seeing images of things. Of a world where they can exist. This clarity brings all kinds of answers.
It's clear. She hugged me and then went back to her place, I guess, in my heart. Oh, it wants to come out. It wants to bippity boppity boop Cinderella me. She's melted into my chest. It's ooey gooey.
All week been finishing things, cleaning up more, started eating vegetables again last week. And it kind of just started happening. It's almost like I just finished going through a meditation session.
I feel light. When you hit that first joint, in the morning, and
I actually feel a lot more awake.
I think it has to do with our last session. And it's this feeling of when do I accept? And when do I hope for more?
Mm-hmm. Yep, good question.
And it really does, it comes up a lot.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we can explore that.
Okay.
Would you like to start with a minute of meditation?
Yes.
Okay, I'll set a timer.
Thank you.
All right.
Hey.
So do you already have that in kind of a parts frame or not? It's okay if you don't.
Yeah, I'm thinking. It's a little fuzzy, but it feels like, there's this push-pull. And I think it does go back to last week. It's okay, you need to accept this. I hear that a lot. And then I hear, no, there's so much more to life. And yeah, so there's this push-pull.
Mm-hmm. And is that accepting something internally? Is that accepting other parts, or is it usually referring to accepting how things are out in your world externally?
Yeah. It's, I have two things on my mind. I had a realization. My oldest daughter was bidding the largest job she'd ever done. Mm-hmm. And I realized how much have you checked this? Have you researched this? Have you done that? Mm-hmm. And I realized that I was really talking to myself because, I'm telling her, don't let people run over you. Be sure you get paid. And so there's this feeling of I do a lot for very little. And so there's that. And then there's, the other side of me is going, you need to raise your prices and you need to, send out some offerings. And then the other part is my health. It's like, I just got blood work back and you need statins and I feel myself I don't want to go there. I want to keep trying new things before I go on a medication that, so yeah, it's accept versus stay where you are.
Okay. And there's just one other thing that I wanted to clarify in what you said. You said you do a lot for very little. Does that feel like it's you're referring to externally?
I didn't think about it for internally. Could you explain? It is external is what I was thinking, but could you explain internally?
Well, if that's not what's coming up for you, then maybe no reason to
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So accept, stay versus push, raise prices. There's more to go after.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, we could consider those two different opposing parts. And does one of them feel like it needs your attention first or most?
Well, it's funny. When you said push, it feels more like that's the pull. Feels like the push is to not do anything. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And thanks for that clarification, because that is a big difference between pushing and pulling for sure.
Yeah, because when I think about when I'm just daydreaming or contemplating, I often think there's so much more out there, and that feels like a pull. And then there's something going, don't go there.
Yeah. Okay. So is it the don't go there that you'd like to talk to first, change your relationship with, see what you can learn about?
I think so.
Okay. Check around, see if there's any other parts that have concerns about that or really want to get in there first. Just let them know they're all welcome.
Okay.
And that there's no wrong way to get started.
Okay. Yeah, let's just go to the don't go there part.
Okay. How do you notice it in your body when it comes up?
I'm trying to get in the physicality of it. It feels like doors closing everywhere, but in my body, it feels heavy. Maybe like my blood isn't flowing anymore, like everything is slowing down and my head hurts.
Okay. Just let it know you see it.
Okay.
How do you feel towards it?
Actually, I feel a little afraid.
Okay. check in with that fearful part. Ask what its concerns are.
It says, I'm afraid it will just tell me all the things that I can't do. I can't do right. That I'm.
Yeah. And it's done that before, right? It's told this part that it can't do it and can't do it right. Yeah.
Afraid of the shame and the list and the disgust.
Yeah, those are some of the tools that it uses to. Yeah. So this part that has been experiencing this has been the victim, the receiver of the shaming and the disgust and the messages that it can't do it right. Just let it know you see that.
Right.
And that it doesn't have to be the one that goes and talks to the don't go there part.
Okay.
Just see if you can get it to notice you.
Yeah.
You might let it know that you want to help it with those things. You know, that by going to that other part with curiosity, we might be able to learn what's driving it and help it relax.
Okay.
How's the fearful part feeling now?
There's a lot of eye darting.
Oh yeah? And what is that message?
It's like, I'm trying to focus on what you're saying, but
Right.
yeah.
It's okay. It's no hurry for it to do anything. Or there's no mandate that it does anything either.
Okay.
But it's a part. So you can ask it for space. You can ask it just to kind of unblend from you a little.
The one that's
scared.
Okay. Oh, the one that's scared. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay.
And it can go somewhere else. It can go in another room.
Yeah, that's what she wants.
Yeah. And that room can have whatever she wants in it.
Okay.
And we can also promise to come check back in with her.
Okay. And I'll knock first.
Right. You'll knock and you'll make sure that the don't go there part it's in its own different room, right?
Right.
Right. Yeah. That's what you can do for all parts.
Okay.
Great. How's it feeling about all that?
Much better.
Awesome. How do you feel towards the don't go there part?
I feel a little sad that she's so afraid.
The don't go there part is afraid?
Yeah, I mean, that she doesn't want to stay here with us, but I get it.
Just so I'm clear, this is the earlier part that was afraid and had received the shame. That one has gone into another room, and you're feeling sad for the for the don't go there part for its fear.
Okay. Now I'm lost. All right. So I've got one who's afraid of the shame and the list and the disgust.
Mm-hmm.
All right. How many parts do we have here, James?
I thought just 2.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes. I see. Yes. That's
we can give them names if that's helpful.
Yeah. Okay.
So what will we call the one who is afraid?
Afraid of shame, I guess.
Right. Okay.
Could you give me just 1 second? I'm so sorry.
Yes.
I'll be right back. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm back, James. Sorry.
Okay. Take your time.
Okay. All
so
right.
there's afraid of shame. It's gone into another room.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a part that I was calling don't go there. Doors closing, heavy, slow blood. It's the one that pushes you to accept things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how are you feeling towards that part?
The don't go there part?
Mm-hmm.
How am I feeling towards her? Curious.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little. I'm frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So the frustrated because this don't go there part is slowing you down.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
Holding me back.
Mm-hmm.
But I would like to know what's going on.
Okay.
It's not all, frustration and.
Right. Yeah, you got some curiosity and you got some frustration.
Yeah.
Okay. See if you can ask the frustrated part to give you space.
Okay. Oh, wow. Yeah, she's got her arms crossed, but she said, okay.
Great. Thank you to her.
Yes, thank you. Oh, man, I really noticed she's running a lot.
The frustration.
Uh-huh.
She's trying to manage other parts.
Yeah, it seems like she has a lot of power.
Yeah. You just acknowledge that, recognize her power.
Okay.
Let her know that you're looking forward to working with her.
Okay.
And we're just asking for a little space to meet this other part. Just to see what we can learn about it.
Okay. She's on the edge of her chair, but she's okay.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, if she needs to intervene, she can just kind of let you know.
Okay. Yeah, that helps.
Mm-hmm. All right. So now turning back to the heavy, don't go there part.
Okay.
Still feeling curious about it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
so wild. It's like frustration goes, curious.
Yeah. Frustration doesn't have to be curious.
Oh, okay. Okay. You don't have to be curious. You can know everything you need to know. You don't
or frustration can go for a walk.
Right.
Or go chop down a tree or whatever.
It's like she wants me to know she knows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. She does a lot of managing. She has a lot of power.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. And we could even let her know that we'll bring back a report after we meet with Don't Go There.
Okay. It's almost like she's blowing me off now. Fine.
She's frustrated.
Yeah. No, it's just like, fine. It's like,
yeah.
Whatever.
Yes.
If you think you can do something here, go ahead.
Yeah. And if not, hey, no big deal. It's fine. So thank her.
Yes.
And yeah. How are you feeling towards Don't Go There now?
Well, there's a little space.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what we're going to try to lean into, expand, invite Don't Go There into that space.
Okay.
Let it know you're curious about it.
Okay.
And ask it what it wants you to know.
Hmm. Interesting. It's like almost the same words as afraid of shame, but it's more, I'm so concerned that you can't handle the disappointment.
Right.
And the work itself. There's a whole lot of wow, this brings up a memory, but it's almost like you're handicapped and that's okay.
Yeah, to take on this extra work might be too much.
Yeah, it's like a parent that, I can tie my own shoes, but it'll just be too much for you. Let me do it for you. It's that kind of feeling.
Yeah.
That it's so
It is like a parent.
Okay.
It's trying to protect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So does it make sense to you that it has this concern?
Yeah.
Yeah. There have been times in the past when that disappointment felt like something overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And when it really was too much for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the way it's handled. It's
Right. Yeah, we're going to learn about that.
Okay.
And see if we can help with that.
Okay.
But first, it's kind of just seeing that this part's not crazy. This part's not evil.
Right.
There's a real fear. There has been real overwhelm from disappointment. And so the more we can understand what that's about for it and its intention for you, then the more we can offer other solutions or to help it out.
Okay.
you mentioned it showed you a memory. And you don't have to share any of these memories or anything with me. But you might ask more about, some of those memories, some of those times when it's really had to be active.
It's almost like it took over. It replaced my mother, because I would share big dreams. Like, you don't have to do that. There was so much about my weakness, not my strength.
Right. So this part's really focused on the weaknesses and making sure that they're not exposed or overwhelmed.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Just let it know that makes sense to you.
Yeah.
And that some of that is part of being a mom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Knowing the weaknesses.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's exactly what happened with my daughter. When I was telling you that she had this big job offer, and I was saying,
Watch your back.
I made amends to her, but I said, your greatest gift is generosity, and it can also be your greatest weakness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So see if you can just show this part some appreciation for its intention.
Okay.
It wants to protect from that overwhelm, from the disappointment.
Yeah, the word that really got me was not to expose my weaknesses.
Right.
Oh, I'm grateful for that. But there's another part going, when are you going to see my strengths?
Yeah. Just ask that part for space.
Okay.
These parts have been doing what they do for quite some time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to take some time to help them see any other way.
Right. Just take a beat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And kind of like we said to the frustration part, this part might not need to have all those other qualities. Sometimes it's good for parts to specialize. They don't all have to get along. The goal is self-leadership.
Okay.
So there's self, and self has all those qualities. And so sometimes it's just about getting parts to stop going at each other. But they don't have to fundamentally change their biases, their perspectives.
Wow. It's like a wrist and an elbow.
Will you say more?
Well, you don't have to sit right beside each other, but you're both very valuable,
They're very valuable parts.
Right. But they're never gonna,
Yeah. Yeah. You don't want your wrist to be your elbow or to do the same work.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So you showed this part some appreciation. And is it receiving that from you? How does it feel about this time with you?
I think there's a little bit of mistrust, but
Yeah.
there's been so much, I just keep hearing, you've just misunderstood me so long.
Right. Yeah. You haven't been there in this way for that part.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right.
You pretty much wanted to muzzle me and get rid of me.
Let it know that is other parts.
Okay.
And that you've met those other parts and you're going to keep meeting those other parts.
Okay. Oh.
And then you see how hard that is for this one to be battling those ones.
Yeah.
But you're not going to muzzle it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That was a huge shift.
Mm-hmm.
I think for both of us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is all new.
Okay.
And I'm making a note to look out for those parts that want to muzzle it, because we'll need to get to know them too.
Okay. Yeah. And now I'm seeing how valuable it is.
Mm-hmm.
How valuable that part is.
Mm-hmm.
If I really imagined, annihilating that part, then who'd be watching out for my weaknesses?
Right. Right. Yep. Just show it all that. You might ask what it would rather be doing if it didn't have to work so hard. If those weaknesses were not at risk of being exposed.
All I hear is living. I'd just rather be living.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Instead of the slowing the blood, I'd rather have some blood pumping.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's interesting, James. I hurt my leg a few weeks ago and it's really slowly healing. And there was just something when you said that. It's like I'd rather have the blood flowing and pumping and
Yeah. Is there any more that this part wants to show you about what it would rather be doing with its energy? What that living would look like for it?
Oh man. I think too, celebrating, not pointing out what could go wrong, but celebrating and just letting go of yeah.
Yeah.
I'd rather be trusting.
Mm-hmm. Sounds really nice.
Yeah.
And how old does this part think that you are?
How old do you think I am? I don't know, middle school, high school.
Mm-hmm.
She's been at it a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. And is there anything it wants to show you about what was going on at that age that made it need to work so hard?
Oh, yeah. Keep getting an image of a high school counselor, and he looked at me and said, "You're not college material."
Mm-hmm.
You know, just that there were so many places where, I was dreaming.
Mm-hmm.
She was afraid
You were dreaming, and
of a
here's
better
someone,
life, of being stronger, of getting out of.
and here's other people pointing out your weaknesses.
Right. Right.
And feeling the disappointment,
Yeah.
overwhelming disappointment.
Yeah.
So this part stepped in and said, let me do that for you. Let me do that. I'll do the pointing out the weaknesses.
Yeah.
So that we don't have to hear it from mom and hear it from the counselor.
Right. Right.
Save you a step.
Yeah. Yeah, so many things about my body too. Just,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's funny. I just saw one where I said it's going to be okay. I saw the self say, "I'm going to be okay. It's going to be okay." That gives me hope.
I wonder, because I bet you have parts that also say it's going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
And they come in perhaps to shore up some of the hope. And this part kind of takes it away. I could be wrong about that. That could be self also. The fact that you said you saw it makes me question if it's self.
I just had a memory. I ran a marathon,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like, there's no way you can do this.
Mm-hmm.
You have diabetes.
Mm-hmm.
It's 26 miles. I don't know. Yeah, there's just something about, maybe I'm just telling her.
Yeah, well, we can find out.
Okay.
But so we have this middle school, high school child who was disappointed. We have this part that says, don't go there, and has thought that you are that child.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So go ahead and update the part, or both of them, with your real age.
Okay. The first thing I heard was, "Oh my God, now I really have to protect your weaknesses."
Yeah?
Yeah.
You're weaker now?
Yeah. It really was. It was that quick. It was like, but don't you know your body's getting weaker every day? So there's a real...
Yeah. And there may be some truth to that, right? That getting older, have these other weaknesses.
Yeah.
But what it was primarily focused on preventing was the overwhelming disappointment from being told you're not college material, those kind of messages that, I don't know, is there a difference in, my ankle hurts versus I'm not smart, I can't go to college.
Is there a difference?
Yeah, check that out with the part.
Okay. Is there a difference? It feels like a no.
Okay. Yeah, could be. So maybe another way to look at, I'm not going to argue that you have a stronger body today than you did when you were 14. But you do have other resources.
Yes.
That you didn't have then.
Yes.
And that applies to this internal work that you're doing right now.
Right. Right.
And so your ability to help out that 14-year-old, or however old, your ability to listen to parts and to lead them, that's something that isn't going to get any weaker.
Oh.
And that's kind of the good news that you can bring them now.
Yeah. She felt that because I felt that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and maybe she wants to keep that job of warning you when there's a weakness in the body and you need to attend to it.
Yeah.
But maybe all of that can be done in a way that everybody's happy with and that is helpful instead of harmful to other parts.
Yeah.
Or feels like it's crushing your dreams versus giving you some good advice.
Right, right. Yeah, and I can feel the blending of those, two things kind of separating a little bit. It's like I still want to be here to tell you that you need to make an appointment or you need to take a look at this before you send out the letter or you know. And I really feel her going, that's a job I want.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it sounds like we found it. That's, again, the part they don't need to fundamentally change who they are and what they care about. It's just kind of a refocusing of, or reinterpreting or helping them do that in a way that's positive.
Yeah. I mean, when you said she may still want to let you know, when you need to take a second look at something or, and I really want to be able to trust her with that because before it just felt like it was so muddy in everything.
Right. Because before she thought you were 14.
Okay.
So you had a different set of weaknesses, let's say, and a different way in which those disappointments would overwhelm you compared to who you are now, and I mean right this moment in self-energy. That you can handle disappointing news.
Yeah.
When you're in self energy, you can take disappointing news with clarity, with courage, confidence.
She just said, you just caved.
Caved.
Yeah, you listened, you just caved and listened to whatever they said. And
yeah,
I had no choice but to just keep you from doing that.
Right. That's right. And she really may have not had a choice but to step in like that.
Right.
And that part of you that did the caving is still in there and probably still in the cave, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And you can help that part out too, so that it's not having to do that.
Yeah. Wow, there's a crowd in there, James.
Yeah. How many are? Can you?
Well,
can you
when you
name
say
them?
the caving part, the frustrating part, the don't go there part,
Yeah. Yeah. But in this part of the conversation, I was picturing that we're talking to the one that had said don't go there, replaced my mother, the one that wants to prevent the counselor from crushing the dreams. And then there's this young girl whose dreams were crushed. And she did that. She was the one suffering that disappointment.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be kind of a protector and an exile dynamic. And you've updated them both on who you are now.
Still feels really big.
It is.
Okay.
Is there more you want to say about that bigness? What that means to you?
I remember when I started doing the work, it felt like all my beliefs were in a queue that wrapped around, 6 or 7 city blocks, all waiting for attention. And but there's also a real relief in that I'm seeing what I couldn't see, who I couldn't see. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of parts. And I don't know a more efficient way to get to know them.
Yeah. Not good with one text, huh? Yeah,
no,
it's
but and as you get better at this, like we could imagine that every time you and I talk, we really get to know one part, and maybe that takes an hour. So you might think, well, that means I have to talk to James for 100 hours to get to know 100 parts. But I don't think that's usually the case. I think that first of all, you will get way more efficient at it and find that I'm just slowing you down half the time, because I can't see what you're seeing. And And really the process is pretty simple.
Mm-hmm.
And so you'll start building that kind of confidence and going there. You'll also probably find that so many of these parts are really overlapping and connected, that it is kind of like learning the parts of the body where you learn one and you've sort of learned about the 5 around it.
Uh-huh.
You know, and there's only so many. So yeah, it's not endless.
Well, and it just seems like they might hear through the grapevine that they can trust me a little bit more.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a big part of it, getting more efficient.
Right.
Yeah, all the parts that we met in this conversation are going to get some of that kind of trickle down trust.
Okay.
Yeah. So this one that was saying don't go there, what does it need from you going forward?
I think some reassurance, patience. This is odd. I don't know where this came from, but some skepticism.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it doesn't want you overly blending with the big dreamer.
Yeah. Or her.
Right.
Or the don't go there. You know, it's like It feels so heavy. It's like I always have to be the one to say don't go there. Could you just be a little skeptical and ask me why and maybe even challenge me some?
Mm-hmm. What do you think about that? Are you up for that?
Yeah, I can feel myself getting a little wobbly, you know. Mm-hmm. I feel like I do that, but
it could be something you negotiate with this part. You could say, you know, tell me more, show me the details. What do I how does it what would that look like? And how often, how much?
Right.
You know, just being on the same team and admitting that, okay, maybe this is a new territory for you.
Right.
But the parts can inform you, which is what we're asking of them. It's just, it can still let you know when there are problems.
Yeah, she's really tired. It's like, could you get somebody else on board here?
Yeah, that's right.
And it feels like, does it just have to be me and you? Because I'm so tired of telling you you're handicapped and weak.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't seem to be working out too well for us.
Yeah, well, she hasn't been telling Self, and Self hasn't been listening.
Okay.
She's been telling the other parts, and likely this Exile part.
I see. Boy, every time you remind me of that, something just, I can feel my spine getting straighter.
Yeah. And it's, I mean, this is how we are. So everything about this is normal.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
This is how everybody is. Everybody is blended with parts.
Okay.
Until they figure that out. Until they either intuit or through IFS or some other type of parts work, discover how Self can lead parts.
Yeah.
And just because you read it in a book or you did a session, they're still going to keep blending. They're still, those relationships have not been settled. Those paths they still don't trust you. Sometimes things are still overwhelming and some part needs to come in and feels like it needs to kick you out of the driver's seat. It's gonna keep happening. So it's just a process of continuing to show up for them, continuing to listen to them, and building that trust, and being that one that can be responsible, that can lead them, and that they can bring their messages to and know that they'll be heard.
I remember hearing a long time ago, don't say I'm depressed, say a part of me is depressed. And that's what it felt like today. It was like, no, that she hasn't been trying to convince you. She's trying to convince another part.
Right.
And and it feels so doable when I see it that way.
Mm-hmm. So you could ask her, you could say, so from now on, come to me with the messages. Don't dump them on these other parts, because we've seen how that works. This part was just saying that.
Yeah.
Come to me with the messages. Again, I'm the one that can handle bad news.
Okay.
And you can step into that and let it know just to come to you first.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And again, that's a negotiation. You're not just telling it better do this. It's how can we establish this? What can I do to make that easier for you? How do you want me to listen? When do you want me to check in? What would that look like?
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And another offer to that part can be, asking it how it would feel about you going to that young one who was so disappointed and helping her out.
Okay.
Does it trust you to do that?
Wow. Okay. So.
And is there any start of an answer to that question from it?
Okay, let's see. How do you want me to listen?
That, yes.
How would it feel for me to go to the young one?
Yeah.
Wow, it's like she just slid her chair back and went, yeah, go.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm happy to help you with that. Not in this conversation, just in the interest of time.
Sure.
Because usually that's feels even bigger. So.
Okay.
Yeah, we can do that.
So is there any particular way that I can, do you do this in journaling or? I mean, how did you go about it when you began?
I mean, I did a lot of pure work like this.
Uh-huh.
And I did daily check-ins with myself and almost always a piece of paper and pencil. And
right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's been my prayer life for years. So, that is the way I move through the world, is writing. So,
yeah. And checking in with protectors specifically should be, that's something that most people can do, that you, just like you've done with this part, you've kind of got its number, you've learned about it, and you could check in with it tomorrow during your prayer with pencil and paper and just say, how you doing? Follow up on some of those questions. How do you want me to listen to you? What else do you need? What else do you need from me to trust me to do whatever you need to help you relax, to help you do the job that you want to do, which is look out for weaknesses without being the bad guy. And then there's the exile work, which more people find harder to go to on their own. And that's when working with a practitioner can help a lot.
Thank you.
Just because it's heavy and there's a lot going on and there's bunch of parts that want to jump in. So.
Yeah. I could feel it earlier. It was like, okay, James, how many rooms do we have here?
Yeah, right. Yep.
Wow.
But if you listen to some of the calls I've done, it's common for us to go there within the first 3, 4, 5 calls and to do some really great work in that time.
Okay. I'll keep listening.
Yeah. I often put it in the description. I'll say we went to an Exile. Well, sometimes, but it's pretty rare in a first call, and it's rather rare in a second call, but lots of third and fourth calls for sure.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thanks to all your parts. I know we promised a couple of them that you'd check back in, so maybe that's something you want to do, is just, let that frustrated part know that you learned some things about this one that was saying don't go there. And yeah, you can kind of just show them all some of the results, some of the fruits of your work here.
Okay. I'll do it.
Awesome.
Thank you, James.
Okay.
So will you let me know when you have space?
I will.
Okay. Have a
Looking
wonderful.
forward to it. Okay, you too.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, bye. Do you want to help bring more self-energy to the world? If you'd like to participate in calls or help out with this project in any way, I'd love to hear your ideas. Join the Discord server or contact me at james@liveifs.com. A huge thanks to our audio engineer, Yvonne, for your care and diligence in editing the calls. To every caller for your courage in sharing some of your parts. And to anyone out there getting to know their internal system, keep going. Who knows? That might be the most selfless, helpful thing you can do for others, and you're the only one who can do it. If you'd like to see us reach the largest audience, we must please the almighty suggestion algorithms at iTunes and YouTube. And they don't care about the power of IFS. They're looking for likes and shares and comments, and the sooner the better. Follow the links in the show notes right here in your podcast player to make your wishes known. And now, a minute of meditation. Or if you prefer, pull over. You can do it in 60 seconds. Just click one of those links. They're right there, and give us a like or a 5-star rating. It would really help. If you think this project is helping people, you're helping people by sharing it. Thank you.